Crysis Warhead is a standalone expansion pack to one of the most visually impressive games of all time. Despite being a great game, the original Crysis took a lot of flack for being such a demanding game on people's hardware. Many of the previews I read of Warhead played up the fact that the game was so optimized compared to the original that it would run on a $700 system. And while it do get better frame rate compared to the original Crysis, it is not this super optimized thing that is being played up to be. I say if you can't run Call of Duty 4, you won't be able to run this. The fact that it is a standalone expansion pack and you don't need the original game, and the fact that it supposedly can run on more computers than the original, leads me to believe that Crytek is looking for people that haven't played the first game. This leads to my biggest problem with the game and the fact that there really is no story. If you haven't played the first Crysis, you'll have no clue what's going on. There's nothing on the back of the box, there's nothing in the manual, even the opening cinematic doesn't even tell you who you are fighting, much less why. Was it so hard to say you were fighting the North Koreans? I don't even think you know the name of the island you're on. In Doom, you knew you were on Mars. The outdoor environments look fantastic in this game, but fans of Stalker or Operation Flashpoint will be disappointed that it's actually quite linear. Most areas only have one alternate way in. In fact, it's usually a horrible idea to go off the beaten path. I hate how my irrational fear of sharks translates into being scared of them in first-person shooters. That didn't work. Most of the fun in the game comes from just playing around with your superpowers. It's always nice to find little combos you can do before your gauge runs out. And while it does take some practice to get used to how the powers interact, they are quite fun to use. I just wish when I was in speed mode that I could reload my gun faster. But that could just be a balance issue. For those that don't like stealth, the game gives you a nice variety of weapons with tons of ammo, much more so than the original Crysis. You can actually use the Scar now. Sniping is very easy in this game. All you do is turn on strength mode, which improves your accuracy and reduces recoil. This is called exploiting the AI. Now, I have to mention the shotgun. How many games can you actually put a scope on the dang thing, and it actually work at range? You'll even find much more ammo for the Gauss rifle, which is about the best weapon for fighting aliens or people in nanosuits. With fewer attack helicopters buzzing overhead, you can use the missile launcher for what it was always intended for. But if you're really cool, you can just use the melee. Warhead does include two new weapons, my favorite of which are the micro Uzis, which replace the standard pistols. Shooting at 15 rounds per second, who needs headshots? The grenade launcher is more fun than practical. It has the rarest ammo in the game. The explosion radius itself is not very large, especially considering how open the maps are, but it is fun to use whenever you find ammo for it. Grenades are extremely hard to use though, since as soon as you throw one, all the enemies run. But the coolest weapon in the game has to be the environment itself. One of the biggest problems with the original Crysis was that all the vehicles in the game were extremely fragile. The Jeep was infamous in that it would kill anyone that got anywhere near the thing. Thankfully, the new APC is much tougher than the other vehicles, and there's not any exposed gas tanks on the side of this thing. It can actually take a lot of damage, and it's actually quite fun. Online mode gives you access to tons of new vehicles, but it does have a steep learning curve. Think Battlefield, but with much larger maps, much more sniping, and much more deadly vehicles. I will give you some advice. Press P to buy weapons. Fans of the original Crysis owe it to themselves to pick up the expansion. However, if you're new to the series, I recommend paying the extra $10 and picking up the first one. While Warhead does improve vastly on Crysis' gameplay, especially by reducing the amount of aliens you encounter, the original game is needed if you want to know what in the heck is going on.
Hi, Mommy.